welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Woman Oracle and Tarot, and today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on life, love, and everything else. So we will be doing a general current reading more or less to touch on what's going on in your life and each of these areas ideally, and that way you can get an update, any advice, any guidance around action, and otherwise give you some touchstones and breadcrumbs to be able to support you either as validation or reassurance and or guidance and wisdom for your journey. So I first want to encourage and or invite you to like this video, to subscribe, press the bell icon if you enjoy this reading. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. And if you want to get to know more about me, my work, my coaching programs, personal intuitive readings, you can check out the link below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. And I do have two other YouTube channels, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television, both of which are linked below, and they might tickle your fancy as well. So I will go ahead and place a picture up of your 3 card piles to choose from today. You are choosing, as always, from left to right. All right, so let's start with card pile 1. We're doing a general current energy update, life, love, everything else. So it feels like you're going through a new awakening within yourself. This feels very, very loving. There feels like a deep bond here. So you may either be meeting someone or have met someone. Someone could be in your field, but I could also say this could be something like a deeper experience or replenishment of love all around. You know, divine love, connecting to self-love, connecting to source, developing that connection to love, which is that interconnectedness. So this energy of love feels very boundless and consuming and awakening, and it feels so soothing and comforting. It just feels so beautiful. And so this love, of course, can come in many forms. You know, we read the energy and the readings, but how it manifests in form really depends on your personal circumstances and experience. So this love can be for you personally as self-love, divine love, a divine awakening, but it can also take the form of a divine lover, a divine partner. I feel like for many of you that's happening, meaning you are uniting with, if this has nothing to do with a partner for you, that's fine, do stick around because I think this will apply to you. But for some of you, this energy is going to manifest in a person or a partner, and this very much could be what you might consider soulmate and or twin flame, minus all of the drama around it and all of the connotations that we see online, but someone who would be a meaningful partner for you. This could be a long-term partner, this could be your lifelong partner, this could be the person that you've been searching for, but one way or another, a divine love in one way or another. Now, what I'm feeling very much so for this is that there's an awakening here for you. There is an awakening here for you, card pile 1, and it's in love. So in one way or another, perhaps you've withheld love from yourself, and or it hasn't been a primary priority for you, and or you have attempted to give focus or your energy or attention to other things in your life, say work and career, any kind of passion or creative pursuits. And it doesn't mean that there's not love in those areas, but it feels like there could have been a time where maybe you put connection or intimacy with self, God, Great Spirit, Cosmos, Universe, or another person even, or other people, or everybody on the back burner, or you shelve that and put something else as your focus. So however this is showing up for you, in one way or another, you haven't experienced this level of love before, okay? You have not experienced this level of love before. So there is this beautiful guiding message of encouragement and support, because this may be difficult for you to allow this love in. It might be difficult for you to embrace it. I feel like it's already happening. It's already underway. So many of you either have already met this person, and so if you're here and that's why you came here was to get the affirmation, I would say this is an affirmation. But for those of you who someone is not in your field yet, either they already are energetically and you haven't manifested them or experienced them in physical form yet, and or again, this could just be your experience of greater divine love, an embodiment of divine love, contacting that more at a deeper, truer, anchored, more stable and sustainable way, where you're in greater contact with it on a regular basis, like it's becoming a part of who you are. But there's this beautiful awakening, divine awakening, or ascension and or enlightenment, whatever term or word or label you want to use, of love. And it's like coming into all of your cells and the breath of your life, and it just feels so consummate. It feels, what I mean by that, it just feels like all parts of you are being touched by this, and it's bringing you to a place where I don't believe you've ever been before in this lifetime. So enjoy that. Let's see what else is going on here for you. Yeah, I feel like most of you are coming into divine union or divine partnership, soul companionship. Again, this could be a reconciliation with yourself. Again, if you are someone who doesn't resonate at all with the partnership piece, or just not even relevant for you right now, and maybe it is relevant, you don't even know, but sometimes we're pretty clear in where we are, and then that would mean you're coming into greater divine union with yourself, with your whole self, high self, true self, authentic self, soul self. But you're moving into a time of greater abundance of love, abundance of being able to feel and experience it in your everyday life, as well as with a partner. But you're coming into divine union in one way or another. I do feel like for most of you, this is partnership. We have another card here that's speaking to that. Let me go ahead and show you. Take a look here. But I also feel like for some of you, this could be community, circlehood, sisterhood, brotherhood. This could be sort of like an organization or community of people that gather around you. So it doesn't have to be necessarily a duo or two people. There is an energy here, potentially of village, of community, of connection. So in one way or another, whatever form it takes in your life, it does feel like this energy of love that you're experiencing within yourself is going to manifest in some kind of physical form, whether it's, helping hands, more hands on deck. If it's neighbors who genuinely care for your welfare, you tap into a community one way or another in your life or experience, where you tap into a greater opportunity for connection and love. That's what's coming through here. Let me see what else is here. I want to contemplate on your cards. Give me a moment. Okay, so I just wanted to check in on this message here. So what I'm feeling for these right here, I'll show you the cards so that you get an idea of what I'm talking about here. So you have a no here, but the thing is, I read intuitively, not directly. So in some cases, someone might see that and be like, there is some guidance here of saying, no, don't do it. But for me, actually, I'm feeling that like this is a subconscious reaction, that there are going to be parts of you that are going to be scared of this awakening. There are going to be parts of you who are going to try to push this away. I feel like most of you are going to be able to very easily sort of expand into this regardless. And yet you might notice some of the ways, or at least the subconscious impulses that want to pull you away, push you away from this. They're second guessing it. You might believe it's too good to be true. But there's some kind of reluctance or hesitation. So I'm feeling like for some of you, subconsciously, and it'll become conscious because I'm sharing it with you right now, and so you're going to be able to see. But the thing is, I don't think it's going to actually hold you back. There might be some cases in a reading where it feels like, you're very much leaning into sabotaging this, but that's not at all what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like there's a part of you who's just scared, who feels tender, who feels unsure, who feels a little trepidatious. Is that the word? Who's like dipping their toe in the water, and it's like there's this message of it's okay. This is an integration happening. This is a healing happening. Now, for some of you with that message, because it is here, if you're finding that lands for you at the message of no, blankly, directly, if that aligns for you in some way, that's not what I'm saying. I want you to trust that. When we have a glaring message like that, I think it is important to use your own discernment and intuition. With that said, because I also pulled a clarifier card, and it's an integration healing card, it's telling me that this is the subconscious force here that's really pushing up against the conscious force of more love, but you're bringing all of this into harmony and flow. And those parts of you who are reluctant, who are hesitant, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that we can see them for what they are, which is impulses to return to the past, natural reactions out of fear. We don't have to take them as the final truth or the final say. And I feel like that's the overall message here, because as soon as I entered this territory, the frequency changed. And so I might even suggest to you, if you're feeling like you are full of love, like it kind of feels like this beautiful again, that consummate kind of energy. I don't know another word that can really make sense for me in the moment, but it feels like being full of a cloud, but it feels like love. And so if you feel that, that's the way, that's the direction, that's it. When you are feeling a lower vibe, quote unquote, or a lower frequency or whatever, you can trust that's fear, that's the subconscious, that's old self, that's old stuff. And I think it'll help you to be able to distinguish which path you're on. Like when you go to make a choice or a decision, like, am I moving toward more love and abundance, like Errity said on Wise Women Oracle and Tarot? And it's like, well, if you feel like you're being raised up and uplifted and again sort of on a cloud, not that we should be totally ascended and ungrounded and out of earth, out of the plane of earth, I definitely recommend maintaining a sense of groundedness and connection here in the physical body. With that said, when you're feeling reluctant, I want you to know that that's self-doubt, and it's a reflection of the past, and it has something more to do with your subconscious than what it is you ultimately want for yourself. And love will heal that too if you just keep going. Because what we finish out with is you're already doing it. Stop overthinking, keep facing your true north, and that you're very much on your way. Okay, you're on your way to the Nine of Pentacles. That's what we saw here earlier in the reading. That can show up in love. For some of you, this might be in abundance in material form when it comes to success, when it comes to career, especially because this is a reading on life, love, and everything else. And so in general, we got a lot of love energy in card pile 1. I think this is maybe our primary partnership pile, or potential for companionship or soulmateship or whatever. It could show up in the other piles. I usually get one in an update like this. We might very well see it in other piles. However, you have other things going on in your life too. So what this could stand for as well is love and abundance, or an abundance in general of that frequency though, because love always feels abundant, showing up in all domains of your life in many forms, because once you experience it on the inside as an energy, that's how you perceive most of your world and your experience, in addition to how you're feeling, right? You start to experience it in other ways once it gains traction and momentum. And that's what's important too, is like even it says here, you're already doing it, stop overthinking. It's the overthinking that might get in the way here. And I think that's where that no quote unquote warning is, where it's more so an encouragement to, again, face your true north, recognize overthinking or doubt or reluctance for what it is, recognizing low frequency for what it is, so you can observe that or notice it and disengage and continue to focus on true north, on what feels like love, on what feels abundant. Because everything that you want for yourself right now, card pile 1, is coming in, and it's coming in alongside or with, as a result of this deeper awakening and expansion into love, and this beautiful energy that's coming through, and this potential partnership for many of you or some of you that's coming through. And anything that feels otherwise is going to be a falsehood. It's not going to be true. It's a reflection of the past. If you're feeling like you're being thrown off course, or things are distracting you, and or old addictions or impulses or compulsions are showing up or popping up, or old fears, this is just the subconscious attempting to derail you, but it thinks it's for your highest interest. But at the end of the day, consciously where you want to go, and at a soul level where you want to go, is into this deeper embodiment of love. So that is your reading, card pile 1. If this resonates for you, I encourage you to share your story below, like, subscribe, press the bell icon. Of course, if you want to get to know more about me and my work, coaching programs, and personal intuitive readings, you can go to erritygreen.com/shop, and do check out my other YouTube channels below, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television. I would love to see you over there. All right, thank you, card pile 1. Until next time. All right, card pile 2. You are coming into like cream of the crop, top of your game, highest potential. There has been an unfolding happening for you, a transformation, a deep cellular / spiritual transformation, metamorphosis that has been going on. It feels like for some time. We might say 5 years for some of you. Could be longer, could be shorter, but that's a nice median or average. And I feel like you are coming into your own sense of royalty, so to speak. You know, you're coming into your highness. You know, you're coming into your own nobility. Like you're really recognizing your own power, stepping into all that you are, becoming and embodying your highest potential. Like this is your time. This is your era. This is your season. This is where things start to unfold for you. Now, I do wonder, as I'm sharing this, if you've seen the fruits of your labor and what I'm speaking to, and or if many of you are still in the transformation and not quite seeing how this is leading you to where you want to go. So in the event that you aren't sure, like you haven't experienced any of this and you're like, girl, like what? It's because you're deep in that transformation, but know that what is on the other side of this is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's exactly what you've been wanting, seeking, searching for, creating. If there is something you've been attempting to manifest, if it's really you just coming into your highest potential and always having sought that or felt moved toward that, you are coming into that era. You are coming into a time of reaping the rewards and the fruits of your labor. And so know that that's what's on its way. I feel like though for many of you, this is right on the cusp and or you're already in it. So this is going to be affirmation, assurance, validation for a good plenty of you, a good majority of you, and while others might be like, meh, and it's because you're still in that transformation, and that's okay. I do feel like there is a call for you to be more active in this transformation if you desire more acceleration, but it doesn't mean that acceleration, when I say that, it just means becoming more active, because I don't want to imply that you get to have control to create something more quickly or make it happen now, or oh good, the world is mine. That's not really what I mean, and I never want to portray that. But it's like we can either allow life to happen organically and passively. It most certainly will, and it's always moving us into our higher potential. It's always moving us into our greater evolution. It's not something that we can undo, fix, force, push. It's something that's naturally happening anyway, all by itself. The divine intelligence, the forces of the universe move us toward our highest potential, our great pinnacle, no matter what. Now, those of us who are more active might tend to hit a lot more valleys and rock bottoms and wake up that way because they're not active. They're not recognizing the signs. They're not following their intuition. They're not as conscious or intentional. They're not connecting with their soul. They may not have any kind of relationship with the deeper, truer part of themselves. And in that case, they're going to find that things feel a little bit rockier, or they're pushed between a rock and a hard place. That's when they develop. Now, you might have been at a certain point in your transformation, either now or another time in your life, but I feel like for most of you in card pile 2, because you are coming out, because you are stepping into your greater selfhood or experience of selfhood, and then reaping the rewards of that, you're well aware of how this works, and you've kind of been there, done that. But an active participant in the soul's evolution will be much more aware, and they'll be able to recognize their limiting patterns. They'll be able to recognize where their perceptions are getting in the way, or their projections are getting in the way of what they truly want. They're going to be able to have that awareness and have that clarity, and then whether or not they always do it, or make the right choice, right, take right action, more or less, is a different story. But they'll at least know most of the time, those who are active on the path, and then it's just a matter of time as to when things start to shift, because once once you're aware, generally things start to shift from there. We're just going to leave that as a general rule, because we can also sabotage our progress, and the subconscious can come up and play a role in our evolution. But I'm really not getting a lot of that energy. I really feel like, again, you're active, you're engaged, you're well aware, you're following the path, you're seeing the signs, you're doing what you must do, and you're really not leaving any stone unturned. And this is bringing you right where you want to go. So this is really much this is assurance for you. Let me see what else is coming through here. And I said, hold on. I feel like, okay, let me see what the energy is here. I could pause it if I want to, but I think I have it. So I was just saying that you seem relatively good to go, and that you are active and engaged. Here's the thing. The lingering message, this feels very superficial too. Like, it doesn't feel like some deep anchor, that hasn't been known or seen or recognized yet. This feels like, it's like you're on the path. You're on the path. Don't lose it now. Don't lose it now. So how this is feeling for me is like a lot of thoughts, maybe even overthinking, could be doubts, reluctance, maybe voices in your head. And I don't mean like schizophrenia or a mental illness, although that could be the case for some of you. And there's no judgment if that is the case. But I'm feeling more of like interference or intrusion that is getting in the way of your focus. And it doesn't mean, I don't want to imply that anything that's not this thing that you're moving toward is a distraction and meaningless. It's getting 100% honest with yourself about what your emotional fulfillment is. What is your emotional fulfillment? That's your true north. What is your emotional fulfillment? That is your true north. What is your emotional fulfillment? That is your true north. It's not getting thwarted or thrown off or derailed into any of these other areas. So if something is coming up in your life, cropping up, popping up, okay, or a thought pattern, or subconscious stuff coming up to sabotage when you're at the tail end of the race and getting ready to run through the finish line, and all this stuff pops up, it's like, if it's not aligned with emotional fulfillment, it is not for you. Now, here's a part of your guidance. It's getting really 100%, 100 on your emotional fulfillment. What is that? And be honest with yourself. I think sometimes people can get really like superficial with emotional fulfillment and be like, money. And it's like, well, yeah, but what does money mean to you? What does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? And so, I think my card pile 2s, you're well advanced. That's probably not something that you're going to have issue with. These are, I feel like, my self-mastery group. My self-masters here. Excellent. All of that said, getting clear, 100% clear on what emotional fulfillment is for you, because that's going to be your compass. That's going to be your gauge. That's what's actually happening to you in terms of your metamorphosis. So what I'm feeling is, it's like, I feel like a being, and I don't know, I'm going to try to put this into words. I feel like a being kind of being pulled out of its shell kind of stuff, and all these layers are sort of being sloughed off or falling away, and this part of you, this kernel, is being pulled forward, and slowly and surely everything sort of falls away that isn't that, and that authentic self, true self, or whatever, how you identify at card pile 2 and where you go and what your true north is emotional fulfillment. Okay, so this could be wrapped around virtues or values, if those are ways that you identify or connect with your emotional fulfillment. But you really need to be honest with yourself about what is emotionally fulfilling for you and what's not, and only keeping the things in your life and pursuing the things and giving attention, time, and energy to the things that bring you emotional fulfillment. And again, being honest, because there's something here about, if things are getting in the way and interfering and distracting you or whatever, that would only be because it's not in alignment, and because you're not totally connected to that truth. So that's a message for you. Let's move forward and see what else is here. Yeah. So again, we have a yes card in the pile. I'll go ahead and show you. So everything's like good and gravy, like everything's going well, things are expanding, things are right on time, things are moving, there's momentum here, there's beauty, there's expansion, there's love, there's all this really beautiful energy. And again, you're really coming into your own. This is such a great season or era for you that's starting now, if not already underway. Some of you might still be in that transformation, and so that message, especially about really connecting to emotional fulfillment, even writing those things down. What are your top 5, top 10 things that say that you're emotionally fulfilled, and focusing on those things and nothing else? Because Spirit, God, Great Spirit, Universe, whatever we want to call it, the eternal, it's going to take care of everything else. If you could just take care of this, it will take care of everything else. It's asking you to sort of put up first, like the kind of put up or shut up. It's like, not that, maybe Great Spirit would never say that, but it's asking you to show up first so that it can do that. It will take care of you if you choose to take care of you too first, if that makes sense. So it's like you might have a lot of opportunities in the way, ideas, inspirations, insights that could also be considered interference or intrusion at times, or distractions. So it doesn't mean that all these distractions are quote unquote bad or obviously problematic or something like that. Again, it's a matter, is this emotionally fulfilling? And if you don't know, sometimes we have to experience it. Sometimes we live out the answers to our questions. We don't always know in our heads. Can we feel ourselves there, sense ourselves there? How does it feel when we get there? That's our intuitive sense. That's our gut sense, our instinctive sense. The mind's never going to know. It's just going to take guesses and stabs in the dark. Really not that helpful. It's just going to give us pros and cons. It can offer perspective shifts, really. Perspective shifts, perception shifts, insights, things like that. It can kind of guide you there, but ultimately it's going to be about feeling, right? It's going to be, again, about emotional fulfillment. So what do you say yes to? What is your path? What is your true north? How do you know if you're in alignment? It's going to be something that aligns with and reflects emotional fulfillment for you. Yeah. Again, the wheel of fortune is turning. Like, you're coming into that season of reaping your rewards, of experiencing the fruits of your labor. And again, you being on path, you being on point, you being on par with yourself, with where you're headed, with where you're going. I feel like your old self might creep up sometimes. We were talking about like that pulling away and all those old layers that tell you, no, you gotta do this. No, you gotta do that. No, focus on this. And it's like, those are the things that are trying to be sort of carried away in the current. And then you're stepping into a place of much more self-nourishment, self-love, emotional nourishment, emotional fulfillment. This feels like, for lack of a better term or word, sort of like this feminine awakening within yourself, of coming into that greater feminine energy of love, of flow, of honoring, of nourishing, of nurturing. If it's not aligned with those things, emotional fulfillment, then it's not yours. So card pile 2, your update, life, love, and everything else is very much about coming into your own, your higher potential, reaping all the rewards that you have worked so hard for. It's all happening. It's right on time. And this sort of last minute message, so to speak, although there's no true time or urgency, but you are like at that finish line, if not, somewhere hovering there or right, right behind it or right in front of it. And it's like, you're at that place of manifesting all these things that you've worked hard for as a result of, the work on yourself, of loving yourself more. And it's like, don't be thrown off course now from, old influences, old self, old identity, whether they're thoughts, thought patterns, whether it's other interference, other voices, other people, opportunities that aren't truly aligned for you. This is about focusing on emotional fulfillment, getting clear on what that looks like and means to you, 5 to 10 things, and that's your final sprint. Focusing on those things, and everything else is going to blossom from there. So card pile 2, if this resonates, I encourage you to share your story below, like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, my work, coaching programs, as well as intuitive readings, you can check out erritygreen.com/shop or check out the link below. And I do have 2 other YouTube channels that are a lot of fun, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television. You can find those links and subscribe to join that community as well. Thank you, card pile 2. Until next time. All right, card pile 3, your life, love, and everything else update. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at all, so let's see. Okay. Give me a moment. So I sat with your first card for a moment or two because I feel like there are a few, or at least a couple messages that are coming through, and I wanted to get those straight so I could share each of them. Sometimes it's like kapow, and it tells me exactly what it is, and it kind of gives me this structure for the whole reading. And then other times there's different sort of threads that we're talking about, and they're all sort of unfolding and developing throughout the row. So one of these is you're already sitting pretty, like things are going really well, you're content, you're at peace, but you're telling yourself you're not. So for many of you, this is what it's going to be. For some of you, it might not be, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But the very first thing is you are convincing yourself that something is wrong or off or a problem or a struggle or something, and like none of it's true. It's like you're sitting here with all your needs met, all things are going well. For the most part, obviously there's daily hiccups, of course, and valleys that we encounter on a regular basis. This is human life, right? This is what we do. And yet it's like you're sitting pretty and you're telling yourself there's a problem. Like you're telling yourself this isn't it, or this is wrong, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, and I have to fix this. This is you just creating problems because that's what you're used to doing. This is you sort of in your old mindset and your old way of trying to create problems where there are none because that's what you're used to. You don't know how to sit pretty and enjoy this. I feel like many of you have been gifted a really beautiful gift of some kind, an opportunity that for some of you, this is even a lump sum of money. Now, here's the thing. This obviously is not going to be the case for everyone. If it is, you're already going to know because this feels like something that already happened. So this is not for this card pile, yes, is for you, but this particular part of the message is not. If you're like, what gift? What lump sum of money? What? Okay, and you might even be like, F you to the other people who got it if I didn't get it, right? But the thing is, some of you, if this is already the case, you're already sitting on this throne, okay? You already got the cash that you're sitting on, or this really wonderful opportunity, but now you're telling yourself that it's not true, or you're sort of sabotaging even. You're not letting yourself see what's already right in front of you. If you guys know, hilarious example, but if you know the movie Twister, and if you haven't seen it and that's not from your generation, it tells you how old I am, at least a little bit, right? It gives you some context. But if you don't know that movie and you are younger, check out Twister. It's actually a very good movie for what it is or for its time. And then for those of you who are around my age, you'll be like, F yeah, that was a great movie. So was Independence Day and Jurassic Park. Boom, 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 all at the same time. But anyway, there's this scene in Twister where the woman who, she's like desperate to get a read on this tornado. She's a scientist, she's a tornado chaser, and she wants to change the way we explore, give warnings for tornadoes. So she's like rushing around trying to do all these things, and she's like trying to fix it, and the thing fell over and she's not able to do what she needs to do, and she's freaking out, and it feels like death to her because it's so important to her. It's like, get all the things and dot her I's and cross her T's, right? Like in the moment of that scenario, you have to see the movie. I don't want to give away too much. I'm kind of speaking figuratively. But she's like doing all these things. She's scrambling, and the guy stops her, and he even's kind of rough with her. He's like, hello, Joe. You're not even seeing what's right in front of you. And then, like, there's that perspective shift of, like, what the hell am I doing? It doesn't go into that too much into the movie. The implication is there. It's up to the person who's viewing to do with that scene what they will. But here's the thing. It's like she already has everything that she needs. She's living her life's purpose. She's in her full expression. She's surrounded by people that she loves. She has loving family, and yet she's somewhere in the past still trying to fix something or solve something or unravel something or make something better. And then that's sort of when she realizes that, she's already doing it as part of the message. Like, she's already living her dream, living her purpose, her passion, whatever. Like, she's already sort of on the throne, like we were saying and opening with. She's in the King of Pentacles space. She's already there, and yet she can't see it because she's in an old mindset, and she's still healing from an old wound, an old loss. So for some of you, that could be relevant. The fact that that scene came up, I don't want to disregard that there might be some deeper healing here for some of you in card pile 3, where it's not just the subconscious filter that's preventing you from seeing what's already here, which is you're already doing it. It's right under your nose. You're like, you get to sit back, relax, and it doesn't feel like relax. I don't want to say that, because it feels like there's a responsibility here too, whether it's with that gift and or an opportunity and or just your everyday life. But it feels like you get to sit as your king and or queen self on this throne, and yet you're seeing yourself as like a pauper. Is that the term? So there is something here about a perception of yourself, of not fully receiving or experiencing all that you have. Maybe not even seeing, again, your worth and value, but especially when it comes to that scene, this might be attached to trying to fix something from a wound long since past, trying to, put a Band-Aid on something that's long since over. There's a part of you potentially that is trying to reconcile with something from the past in a way in the present that is irrelevant to your current conditions, and you might not be seeing that completely. Now, for some of you, I feel like, so remember we talked about in the opening that some of you will be sort of in that camp. Well, the other camp is, again, I still feel like there is like a filter here. Like, you're not seeing your world, your life, your experience correctly as it is. And again, because of mindset, because of filter, potentially subconscious influence. But I feel like for some of you, there's something here about not being like fully in your reality. And so I'm speaking it as two different camps, but you might be experiencing both of these. So what I mean is, you're not fully in your reality because you're sort of busying yourself with other things, especially sort of mental operation, like planning, preparing, sending out emails, being on a laptop all day. But this could also be sort of like any kind of, we talk about ascension, when we're sort of living in our upper chakras of thinking and planning and insights and reflection, but we're never actually just living our lives, like doing the dishes and presents, right? Or enjoying and being present in our shower, or savoring every bite of our meal. We might be rushing to the phone or trying to answer an email. Again, we're talking King of Pentacles energy here. Some of you very well might have a big responsibility. You might have a big responsibility at work. Some of you could be CEOs. Some of you could be business owners. Some of you are managing whatever this big opportunity is. Maybe you're gifted land, a home, something, and you have to upkeep that. Whatever that looks like for you, there is responsibility here. But I feel like that could be coloring your perspective But it could be also be spiritual in terms of, or mental, meaning you're, again, kind of in those upper chakras and like the flighty, etheric kind of experience, as opposed to getting grounded and down to earth. It's like if you would only put your feet on the ground and feel the earth beneath your feet, you would see that your dreams have already come true, that it's all already here from you. What are you missing? You know, Carpal 3 wants to ask you, what is it that you think that you're missing? And see if you can even come up with anything, and see how you might argue those points. Again, this could be tied to that old wound like we were referencing, but it also could just be that old mindset, old filter that has long since expired. There might not even be a deeper wound there. This is just your MO, and it's what you're used to. You're being asked to sit on your throne and enjoy being the king and queen that you are. Whatever way this goes, however it's shown up for you, it's going to require you, though, to ground in a little bit, get in your body, get close to the earth, live your actual effing life, you know, like live your life. So again, when we were talking about sort of being ascended or out of the body, or out of the lower chakras and stuff. Again, this could, for some of you, it's answering emails and constantly being on and clocked in with this responsibility that you have. For some of you, it's going to be like you're always focused on like doing the next best thing, or doing something, the spiritual thing, or making sure you get in your spiritual practice or your yoga practice. It's like, what about your everyday life? Like, do you have friends or family you want to hang out with? Hey, you know, you want to bake some bread? You want to go, you know, I don't know, feed some horses or something? It's like actually grounding all of this into life, into earth, so you can experience the riches that you have here. Now I want to see what else is here, because we've only touched on the first row, and I feel like there's more here. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, this is your, I feel like this is your path. Like you're already on path. For those of you, you know, for if you have doubted it for any reason, you're being given affirmation, validation, assurance that you are on path. You're doing exactly what you're meant to do. Again, the King of Pentacles, I also feel like you're doing some kind of work. There is a responsibility that has come with this gift. And if you didn't receive a gift, you're still in some position of responsibility. And so you're being shared with whatever work it is that you do, whatever path that you're on, whatever purpose you're embodying or mission you're on. I gotta get comfortable sometimes over here. Tells you my age again. It's like you're doing it. And so you're on path, you're on purpose, you're experiencing emotional fulfillment even. It's like all is well. Like all the ducks are in order. Okay, you're on path, you're on purpose, things are going well. Let's see what else is here. I feel like for this pile, I just keep getting that same assurance of this similar message, which is come out and play, come out and enjoy what you've got, come out of this filter, this mindset that there is a problem, or you have to fix something, or something needs your attention. You know, it's all of that is sort of this survivalist mentality that could have come from a time where you were building this vision for yourself or this dream, and so it was valid for a while. And I still feel like it's somewhat valid for many of you with the responsibility that you carry, and yet it's finding that balance of being honest with yourself, so there's sort of this just enough, and you're also grounded enough to experience your life as it is in the moment, without being elsewhere in your mind, you know, without feeling like you have to do more, be more, evolve more, whatever. There is something here about being grounded, coming out to play, and it's like it's what's right underneath you. You know, you might feel like you're missing out, but it's right here if you would just look. If you would just look around and experience your life and embrace it. If you would just be here, you'd see that it's all already here. It was already given to you. What are you searching for? Yeah. It's like this is a time for you of deep replenishment. You know, for a long time you were building, you know, you were building, you've been working towards something. You are the King of Pentacles, so you're sort of in that position of king, but you worked your way up in one way or another. Because some of you might be like, oh, well, that doesn't completely land or whatever. That's fine. Apply it to your circumstances. But now is a time of deep replenishment, of allowing yourself to receive what's here, of allowing yourself to experience life as it is. It's almost like life could be much more nourishing for you and replenishing if you just were present with it and availed yourself to it. Because again, I feel like you get so overburdened by your responsibilities, the things that you feel like you have to do, and or what your mind tells you, and so on and so forth, that you're not 100% present, and you aren't entirely aware that life could be much more nourishing and less focused on problems if you weren't trying to solve all the problems. I feel like there's one more message, so let me sit with it, and then we will end your reading. Oh my gosh, this makes me so emotional. So you have your cards here. And I feel like what's coming through is there's a new way to be in the world. There's a new way to be. And it's not about locking yourself out of the adventure, locking yourself out of what you want, your ultimate fulfillment, locking yourself out of your own dream and vision. I feel like in one way or another, again, through your perceptions, through your filters, whatever it is, your mindset, you are not seeing it fully. You're not seeing things as clearly. And by doing so, you're locking yourself out of your own fulfillment, because how can it come to you if you're keeping it at arm's distance? How can it come to you? How can you embrace it? How can you feel it if you're keeping it, just out of arm's reach, or keeping it at bay, keeping it at a distance? There is a new way to do life, to do your work, to hold your responsibilities, to do as you must. Every king and queen must attend to their kingdom. That's not, we're not saying you're going to be able to do away with that, especially because it feels like that's something that you're proud of, and or something that you've worked for, and or something that you want. And yet, there is a call to do it differently and enter your life as it is in the moment, so it can be much more fulfilling, much more rejuvenating, replenishing, nourishing, so that you get to enjoy the life you've worked so hard to build, so that you can experience this new way of being and doing in the world. It's like, it's not like nothing changes except how you experience it. So card pile 3, life, love, and everything else, your update. It's about you experiencing it differently. It's like it's all already here for you. You are thinking that you're missing out on something, or it hasn't happened for you, but it's just underneath your nose. And it's all about how you are experiencing it. You do have a choice to receive it, to embrace it. And how are you going to do that? Getting out of your head, into your heart, into your feet, and being present to your life. It's all already here. All right, card pile 3, if this resonates, I encourage you to share your story below. Do like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new video pops up. If you want to get to know more about me and my work, or purchase a personal reading or explore coaching programs, you can go to erritygreen.com/shop. I hope I've been saying that right. I might have been saying erritygreen.shop. I could see myself doing that. Or check out the link below. I also have 2 other fun YouTube channels, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television, and the event that you might also want to join those communities. All right, card pile 3. Thank you. Until next time.